Good morning. This is Pamela Bluewater for J&S Biblical Productions, July 28, 2018. The success of our videos showing adultery in a marriage has produced an increase in viewer interest in this subject, who have now watched 7 videos on adultery from both the Bible and world literature. As it appears that harmful adultery is on the rise, we are adding one more. This aligns with Jesus' opinion on this subject expressed in Matthew chapter 5, verses 31 through 32. We are at the home of Mr. and Mrs. Percival Blowhard. The children of the Blowhards reported this story to us since they were trained in Sunday school in the teachings of the Gospels, in this case, John chapter 8, verses 1 through 11. But as to the subject of forgiveness, what would Jesus say in this case? Consider Matthew chapter 5, verses 31 through 32. Here we are at 8111 Bleecker Street with the children, Sally and Tom. Hello.
Hello.
It's good to have you both here. So, Sally, tell us what happened last night that you felt you needed to contact J&S Biblical Productions for support.
Well, it was me who discovered this strange man in my mother and father's bed. I came in to ask my mother for a glass of milk. She usually gets me some at midnight when I get thirsty. There was this strange man in her bed. He yelled, "Get it yourself, baby, I'm not your nursemaid." I screamed like Gertie on E.T. Then my brother rushed in.
I'll take it from here. I challenged him. "What are you doing in her mother's bed? Where's Daddy?" The man, a big, tall, muscular guy in shorts, said in a sarcastic voice, "There's been a change around here, Sonny. Your mom's living with me now." To make me real mad, he added, "And I'll put you up for adoption if you don't like it, and shut up." I had never been spoken to like that.
Oh my gosh, so that's terrible. What could you do?
I called 911. The police came and arrested him.
How did you explain this so that he would get arrested?
We didn't have to. My mother was tied up in the closet, semi-nude, managed to work the gag out of her mouth and scream. Her clothes have been ripped off. I didn't believe the intruder anyway because my dad works at night.
This is getting worse. Where did your mother meet this horrible guy?
We don't know for sure. Maybe some bar, but he was able to charm himself into our home because he smelled the money that our mother was living on from the family trust fund.
I see. So maybe there are some lessons we can learn from this. I invited a Reverend from the Church of the Open Gate here. Reverend Snood, what does this remind you of?
Miss Bluewater and children, your father can get a divorce if your mother committed adultery. This is an exact illustration of Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, Matthew 5:31 through 32, explaining when it is acceptable to get a divorce.
I couldn't help hearing the story unfolding from the kitchen. Kids, your father can file for divorce. In fact, he should file against your mother because she's a slut. And I don't care what that intruder says or thinks. He has no rights under the law, and he should be branded an adulterer. And one more thing, this whole incident should be reported to Fox News, the Washington Post, National Enquirer, so he gets maximum exposure of humiliation and embarrassment.
That's not necessary and not asked for by Jesus. Let me quote the scripture exactly. Matthew 5:31 through 32. It was also said, whoever divorces his wife, let him give her a certificate of divorce. And I say to you that everyone who divorces his wife, except on the grounds of sexual immorality, commits adultery. And anyone who marries a divorced woman commits adultery.
Miss Bluewater, I know my mother real well. She wouldn't fall for a slimy guy like this intruder. He forced himself on her. That's what it looks like to me.
Except, in your case, your mother is already a slut. She should have said no.
Hi, who are you and what are you going to contribute to this?
My name is Lucy Piffle, and I don't believe we have enough facts to condemn the mother or the father. And quoting the Sermon on the Mount isn't helpful to the children. Let's ask Jesus what he would do in a situation like this. In this Sedgway, calling the mother a slut, that's terrible. That's just name calling. It doesn't make the children feel any better.
Reverend Piffle, you're full of air, and your church is out in the pasture serving some cows with mosquitoes and sheep.
Well, that's it for me, Reverend Snood. Your advice seems to come from a person cloistered in a monastery who doesn't get out into the real world. You should be ashamed of yourself, using a heavy hand to come down on these poor teenagers with a divorce. I'm leaving.
But the mother's a slut!
Miss Sedgway, please. Let's conclude when we have all the facts. At least a divorce should be filed before Mrs. Blowhard starts looking for a new marriage partner, as Jesus said in Matthew chapter 5, verse 32. He doesn't want to force her into committing more adultery. This is Pamela Bluewater for JNS Biblical Productions, asking for your help and your suggestions.
What are your thoughts on today's story? We'd like to know. So, leave a comment and subscribe to our channel, JNS Authentic Biblical Productions. Whether it's the Word of God through parables, true stories illustrating parables, or true stories in the life of Jesus Christ with commentary, you can see them all by subscribing to the most comprehensive collection of videos of biblical stories for you and your family. Have a blessed day.